This is roll, get your roll on. 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 Roll on. This is roll, get your 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 roll on. Roll. He puts me and her in the back of the squad car. Them two, they wasn't mean police officers, I will admit that. They was a little too jolly in a way. But they were up in the front seat just conversating, laughing, drinking coffee as if this was just another normal day. But this day for me was forever about to change my life. I'd never been to jail before. When my dad was young, he told me, he said, son, don't ever be involved in these streets. Don't ever be doing that dumb shit these other niggas do. That dumb shit that I did back in the day. My dad did a 3-year bid for armed robbery. Him and my mom, they got into it. I remember this vividly. I think I had to have been 18 years old, somewhere around there. It was a little bit ago. My dad had been laid off from his job, and my mom, she was a rising attorney. She used to complain a lot about her taking on the load of paying everything all the time because she just made way more money than he did. And he couldn't keep a job for whatever reason. I don't know. My dad never really shared that with me. That was this one particular night. I remember my dad leaving and she said, where are you going? He said, out. All I know is that once the police came to our door and they told us that he had been arrested, my mom was panicking. We went to the jail to see him there. He didn't get bail. He had to do 3 years in jail. During that time, my mom really, really struggled, and she had a lot of resentment in her heart for him. They was in love at one point, but I think once she became an attorney and started defending all these different type of people, it just changed her outlook on people. My mom is a beautiful woman, but sometimes she lets her arrogance get in the way of her judgment. It was a hard time when it was just me and her because she had to take me to work a lot of times, to the point I started knowing all of the other partners in the office. They started saying, oh, there's Jalen, look at Jalen. And they would come and they would give me toys and candy, stuff that I, as a kid you loved. I didn't think about it at the time that I shouldn't even been there at the job with my mom. But I was. Anyways, 3 years had passed and I had gotten a little older now. So I was probably 12, 13. I don't remember exactly. But I was definitely older than what I was when he went in. It was a weird thing. It was a weird relationship between me and my dad at that point. My mom started working extra hours, saying that she was busy and she was working her way to be partner. And she did. She became partner. My dad tried to do everything he could to please her, but she resented him so much, leaving her alone with her only child and work being a career woman, that she didn't want to hear it. Shortly after that, my parents divorced, and I ended up staying with my dad. That was the weirdest thing to me. It was so weird to me because normally your mom takes you because it's the maternal instinct, but for whatever reason, well, I know the reasons, because she wanted to be partner. She wanted to focus on her career, and she didn't want to do what she did for those 3 years by taking me everywhere with her, taking me to court, taking me to her job, taking me with her to meet her clients. She didn't want to do it anymore. Now, I don't think that she didn't love me anymore, but I know that she didn't want to do that anymore. I stayed with my dad. He found him a couple of gigs. It wasn't the greatest, but he kept food on the table. When I got old enough, he started to tell me about jail and why I shouldn't do it. It's weird how I'm in the back of this squad car with Jasmine and I'm thinking about all these things right now. Just earlier today, I was getting dressed and getting ready to meet Jazz.
At the end of the day, I'm in the back of the squad car. I start talking to Jasmine. I said, you ever been to jail before? At this point, she's boo-hooing, crying. I'd never seen somebody just break like this before, like right in front of my eyes. She was crying like a little girl. And she looked like a little girl visually. Because she was so skinny already with a little skirt on, it's weird that she was this woman a minute ago and she became this little girl. Now, I couldn't blame her because I'd never been in jail either, but I've always been prepared for the worst and everything. Thus my childhood. But I don't think she's ever been through nothing like this. I tried to console her, but she never said a word. When I talked to her, I told her that she didn't have to worry about anything. I will take the rap. She's like, what does that mean? I said, I will say that it's my fault. I told you to throw that out the window, and the sack is mine, of course. She said, you would do that? I said, of course I would. I didn't start my day off intending for both of us to go to jail or going to jail at all. But you don't deserve this. So she started wiping her tears. She said, thank you. She said, how long is this process going to be? I said, I don't know. Never been through this before. But I appreciate you sticking with me this whole day. I don't know if we're going to see each other again. I don't know what's going to come of this, but I just want to say this now while we got this moment in this squad car. To just say that I had a good time with you today. Then she started to feel a little sad because she knew that I was about to go to jail. She wanted to hug me, but the handcuffs were so tight on both of us that we couldn't hug. But she said it out loud, and that made me feel even better. She said, I will hug you if I could. I said, thanks. We pull up, and they take us through this process. Standing there, I take a picture, turn left, turn right. I was like, damn, I can't believe I'm going through this, just like in TV and shit. Thumbprint, get naked, cough. They take me through the whole scenario. After a while, I go to a speedy trial. What I had on the table, there was no bail. And even if it was, I didn't have the money either, nor did my dad. At least so I thought. So the deal on the table was you can do a year of house arrest or you can do 6 months in jail. Now, a lot of people would have took that year of house arrest because they felt free. But I never liked the idea of somebody telling me when, where, how, and what to do. So I chose the 6 months. Crazy. Maybe so. But that's what I chose. As I chose that. Shortly after that, I got my orange suit. I got my little laundry basket with all my essentials. It was trash, but that's the way they do things. I go to my bunk. And as I get ready to go to my bunk, I meet this man. And this man was like 6'1". He had this curly hair with black and gray. He's very reminiscent of a Rick Fox, but he was like a little more muscular and talked a little more like a nigga, to be real with you. He got tattoos all over his arms with his sleeves cut off. He reached his hand out and said, what's up, young blood? My name is Ray, but everybody calls me Domino in here. I reached my hand out and shook it and said, I'm Jalen. He's like, nice to meet you, young blood. He starts telling me about things and what he expects in his room. I said, okay. I was at the top bunk. He wasn't going for no top bunk. He says, what am I in here for? I began to tell him the story on how I got locked up because Jazz threw the blunt out the window and I was caught up like that. He begins laughing. He laughed at me. I couldn't believe this nigga was laughing. I was like, bro, this is my life and this nigga is laughing at me. Shit. Next thing you know, he starts to bring other inmates in. He said, y'all come here, come check this out, listen to this. And he said, go ahead, Jay, tell him the story again. I tell the story again about how I got locked up because Jasmine threw the blunt out the window. Now the whole damn block is laughing at my ass. To the point I kind of smirked a little bit. Because I guess it was kind of funny at the fact that this is the dumbest shit ever. And I guess it was kind of humorous when I thought about it. But for some reason, when Domino did that, it just made me so much more comfortable with what was in front of me, which was these 6 months. As days passed, Domino started showing me the ropes. He started showing me how things work around there, how things go. I was lucky enough to be with Domino because Domino was actually one of the most popular ones in the cell block. So he told me that he'd take care of me, whatever that means. He did. He never tried no funny shit, and I always respected that. A month had passed, and I finally had called my father. I know y'all thinking, why would you not call him the minute you got in there? I didn't want to have this conversation with him because I knew what he's already told me about this street shit. I call him, and he pick up, and he knew it was me. He gives me the blues, says, Jalen, what the hell are you doing in jail? I told him I'm in jail because I was selling weed. He was mad at me for a couple of reasons. The first reason was, he said, I told you about this street shit. Why are you selling weed? And secondly, he mad because it's been a month and I haven't called him. Nor did I get an attorney for a plea deal. We talked back and forth. At first we were arguing, but we didn't have a lot of time because it was my free call. I told him that I didn't want him to call mom and tell her. He said, why not? You know, she could get you out of here. I said, nah, that's okay. She left me. She left us. So I don't want nothing to do with her. She can go on and be a busy woman and be the greatest attorney in the world, but she wasn't there for me. So he's like, Jalen. I said, Dad, I'm serious. Don't. Then he said, okay, well, how about I meet you in a week? I said, okay, that sounds good. A week has passed. And he comes and he meets me. We got this beautiful woman next to him. I'm like, who is this? She looked to be in her 40s. She was a really attractive woman. She just had a nice figure. Looked like she worked out. She had natural hair. She really didn't look like she was 40, but then again, black women don't ever look like their age. So my dad is talking to me and say, how you doing, son? I said, I'm doing all right. And he said, I want you to meet somebody. I said, who is this? He said, son, this is my girlfriend, Rachel. I said, hey, nice to meet you, Rachel. And she's like, nice to meet you too, Jalen. It was weird though, because I was like, I really didn't want her to meet me in this way, but I guess my father thought it was so important to meet her at the moment that he brought her. And I could respect that. My dad has been through a lot. So I didn't want to argue with him at this moment while he see me in jail in my jumpsuit. We had a conversation. We talked more and more about what am I going to do when I get out and all these things. And I didn't have an answer at the time. But what I do know is that I got to get it done. I tell him that I got a roommate named Domino. He says, Domino? I said, what? He says, Ray? I said, yeah, you know him? He said, yeah, I know that nigga, man. I was in jail when I was in jail for those 3 years, I was there with him. We wasn't roommates or nothing, but we was always cool people. Like, he had my respect, I had his. I said, well, yeah, that's my bunk man. He's cool. He said, yeah, you can be straight. And the nigga didn't fuck around. I said, yeah. He said you didn't either. Shortly after my dad left and I went back. When I went back, I told him, don't worry about coming back. I'm gonna get through this. He can call me though. 2 months turned into 4 months, into 5, and into 6. I shook up with Domino and told him I appreciate everything he did for me. I was a little more wiser. I was a little more muscular. They let me out. They put me back in my Air Maxes, my jeans, and my tore up t-shirt. And as I walk out with a smile on my face, you'll never believe who was there to pick me up.
This podcast is created, produced, starring, and written by Maurice Hunt. Also written by DeJay. Music from Fora. The sound effects are brought to you by Rack Rack Sound Effects, Nigel Dimmich, Nick Judy, and SoundBible.com. I do not own the rights to any music nor sound effects used to produce this content. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week on Roll.
This is Roll. Get your roll